By the way, I believe I'm the first. So if you're outside of, if you came in beyond state lines, let me be the first Californian to welcome you to the Golden State. Woo! Right? And thank you for bringing it finally to the West Coast. We've been anxious for this, and we really appreciate it, and appreciate everybody coming. So here's my background is I'm going into my 27th year teaching. I work as a math coach about an hour south of here, and I teach one class period of at-risk kids a day. Not because the research says the best thing to do is group at-risk kids and put them all together. We know that's not true, but according to funding, I am told that's to be done. And so I knew this class was coming this year. By at-risk meaning they were on the poverty-stricken list, so SED, foster care or EL, and they also had to have flunked their 8th grade math class. So instead of repeating the 8th grade math class coming to high school, we were all going to put them in the same algebra class, and I get the course. So I was sitting in a Joe Bowler conference last summer with Sadie, who we just spoke of, and there she is, on the way to Twitter Math Camp in Oklahoma, actually. We were sitting there doing that. And so I was looking at this. I was really moved by it. A lot of people know Carol Dweck spoke about growth mindset. And so I was trying to think about how to make this real in a classroom rather than just putting slides up there and saying, hey guys, you should have a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset, and here's what happens if you do. So I found this icon, this graphic here, and I really love it because it implies what? If you look at it, what's it implying? Yeah, we're building it, right? We're moving along, and so we have the kids. If there's any group of kids out there that has a fixed mindset, it's a bunch of at-risk kids that have all flunked 8th grade math. And they're all sitting there, right? And so we needed to move away from that one, which is the brain that's just hanging out and passively being stuffed with information. And so I was trying to explain to the kids that we do this, and that, you know, all this research says that every time you learn something, your nerve cells reach out and make a connection. And what I said was, and I was clear, biologically this doesn't really happen, but I was saying, you form a new wrinkle on the brain. And so we were talking about this. I said, so what you're here is not to learn algebra, but to get as many wrinkles as you can on your brain before you leave. And so from there, I got this idea of neuron stickers. I used to coach water polo, so anytime you can do it. Football coaches, you know the sticker when they kill somebody, tackle someone, and you stick it on the helmet, kind of that kind of business. So I found this icon of a neuron, and I put it on just some mailing labels, and I printed them all out. And I tried pushing for the process reward system that Joe Bowler pushed for instead of the answer reward system. So instead of getting the answers right, are we doing the things that will lead to learning and problem solving? So if they asked a clarifying question, if they were persisting, if they put up a wrong answer in the class, but we learn from the wrong answer, we give them a sticker, and they go over to the brain, and they would put it on the poster that I had blown up and stuck on the wall. So I didn't realize, now granted, they're freshmen, I didn't realize how much they would buy into it and how much they were pulling for each other. So all of a sudden, I get this hand one day and said, Fernando deserves a sticker. Why? I was not getting this, he explained to me, and boom, I get it. He deserves a sticker. And everyone applauds, we give Fernando a sticker, he goes and puts it up on the brain. I'm thinking, you know what, I was thinking this might be a little bit childish and goofy, and we're buying into it. So people are, if I say, anybody have an equation for this pattern, they put it up on the board, and nobody else in the room thought of it, they're like, ooh. Anytime there's an ooh, somebody else says, oh, ooh, sticker. And so they buy into it. And then the second, by the way, that quickly filled up. So second semester I needed another one, I upgraded it, and I gave them some color. But then we started moving along, and then through this route, I also wanted to start identifying, I learned very quickly that with at-risk kids, it's not cognitive issues. A lot of it is behavioral and modeling of how we function, and this whole idea of the growth mindset, that as long as I stick with it, I can do it. So I tried to put more of that on them, and I found this really cool model of this brain. And so every day we identified a brain surgeon. They're basically the captain of the class for the day. But I don't call it captain. If you're varsity, yes, you call it captain, varsity math. But if we're here with these neuron stickers, we're going to call it the brain surgeon. So we went around, and everybody had a day where they were identified. It was everything from collecting materials, getting things settled in. But the big thing that they really loved was answering or leading the discussion on the wrinkle sprinkle. And I was just looking for something to, and I'm going to say this to the Twitter Math Camp, I'm going to lose you all, I know, in the next 5 seconds, but don't look that up online, because apparently it's something very foul. But I didn't know at the time. None of my kids have figured it out. So everybody's going like this, yeah. So It's the job of the brain surgeon to lead the discussion, not me saying, what did you learn, what did you learn, you have an exit ticket, but the brain surgeon has to lead the conversation by kids raising their hand and kids sharing what they learned that day. What really came out of this whole business, if you'll notice up there, it's not just content, it was actually how to participate in an academic environment and how to behave like a mathematician. So you'll see in the upper left there, and that's their writing up on the wall, things like dimensional analysis means to convert units, but also reading directions makes life easier. So we're learning this, and so we're sharing this out because we want to be more successful. Up in the upper right, we will do the homework, because if you're in Shore's math class, if any of you were in my session last summer, you don't have the option. And so they learned that day, but they also learned that multi-step problems can be done multiple ways. And so, well, now the big part of this is they're not responding to me. The brain surgeon has to get this group of at-risk kids to actually sit quietly, raise a hand, and pose what they learned that day, and then lead the conversation on the board, and I just sit back. It really became something special. And then this last one, we know about we need to function well with each other. We need to get ourselves organized. Monique, my lowest performing student, just nailed it that day, so they all decided that day you go to Monique, because now she's the smartest person in the class. The 6 C's, which is my value-based grading policy, and Mr. Siddell, I do owe you a blog on that one, so if you guys have any questions, hold off, I'm putting it up there. And then this one was really interesting. There was a day some kid said, why do I have to do that? And I said, because I love you. And the kid goes, that's kind of creepy, Mr. Short. I said, let me explain it. And so yes, because I love you, I want you to do your best. And when you're here, failing is not an option. You are going to learn algebra. You are going to be successful. And I don't give you that option. But again, for those who were in my session last summer, you know how that works. So anyway, they were comfortable enough to put that up on the board, and it became something really incredible. To round it off there's a group. How could you not love them, right? And my wife said, she looked at the pictures, she said, they look like a really good bunch of kids. They are a fantastic bunch of kids. Some people were talking about quantitative and qualitative research just now. I'm going to throw both at you. These kids came in, and I say this term endearingly, a bunch of 8th grade math flunkies. 100% of them passed high school algebra. Of the 12 teachers teaching algebra on the district final, this group scored 3rd overall in the district on the district final. So we have some quantitative. That also, though, could be because of a lot of the other things that we're doing in there. And so I can't say it was specifically because of the Neuron stickers and the Wrinkle sprinkle. But qualitatively, I can tell you this. They were a different group at the end of the year, and they sat through a 90-minute final. We were the last final of the year. There's a group of at-risk kids 90 minutes from summer. And they sat there for that whole 90 minutes and gave the best effort on a final exam. So at the end, one of them said, I don't think we have all sat like this and concentrated so hard on anything in school ever. So on both sides of that, I think it was a great success, and that's my favorite.